Hi guys, in this video we're going to go through an example of an improper integral that diverges. Notice, okay, so we're going from 0 to 2 of 1 over x cubed dx. This graph is undefined at x equals 0, and at 0 it has a vertical asymptote. Graph looks something like this. It looks a lot like 1 over x. An asymptote along the y-axis here. We're going to be finding the area under the curve from 0 to 2. And this is an improper integral because we're finding an area on the left-hand side of this region. It's an infinite, it has a vertical asymptote, so that's why it's an improper integral. So what we're going to need to do here is we're going to find the limit as b approaches 0 from the right, and we're going to rewrite this and go from b to 2. And my integrand is 1 over x cubed. So let's rewrite that as the limit as b approaches 0 from the right, and going from b to 2, and I'm going to write this as x to the negative third so that I can integrate more easily. So I'm keeping this limit here as b approaches 0 from the right, and I'm going to integrate x to the negative third, which is x to the negative second over negative 2. And then we're going to put in our limits of integration. So I still have the limit as b approaches 0 from the right, and putting in 2 into this function. This function is actually, we can rewrite that. Let me go back up and do this as negative 1 over, I'm going to drop this to the denominator so I make the exponent positive. And then I can put my limits of integration in there. And I'm going to get a negative 1 over 2 times 2 squared, which is 2 cubed. So that's 1/8. And then minus, and I have this negative, and so that is going to become plus 1 over 2 times b squared. Now I'm going to take the limit of this as b goes to 0, and so I get negative 1/8 plus 1 over 2 times 0 squared. So as the denominator is approaching 0, this is going to blow up to infinity. So negative 1/8 plus infinity is still infinity. Therefore, this is a divergent integral. It diverges. It's going to approach infinity. Okay, let's try one more example here going from negative 1 to 2. And in this case, we have an asymptote in between, not at the endpoint, but in between, because it still has, the asymptote is still going to be x equals 0 on the y-axis, but we're integrating from negative 1 up to 2 this time. And so on this side, the graph looks something like this. And on this side like this. It's the same graph as before. And we're finding this area. And we'll see what happens. All right, so we're going to split this up where it has an asymptote. So we're going to go from negative 1 to 0. And I can rewrite this as x to the negative third since we just did that the last example. And then I'm going to add 0 to 2. And we're going to now, since we know that this piece diverges from the previous example, no matter what this is equal to, this is going to diverge and it's going to approach infinity. So diverges to infinity. All right, so work on the 8-8 problems and then bring your questions to me during class. Thanks.